The skeletal system by Luke Armstrong. The skeletal system includes all bones in the body, including the joints that attach them together. There are 10 major bones in the human body. These include the cranium, the mandible, the vertebral column, the sternum and the ribs, the pelvic girdle, the femur, the patella, the fibula and tibia, and finally the phalanges. There are 5 major functions of the skeletal system. One is support, so it supports everything, so that would be a framework. Without it, we would just be a blob on the floor. The second is protection. It protects all our major arteries and organs. The third is red blood cell production. The fourth is storage. And last but not least is movement. It helps us to produce movement. Next, we move on to the joints of the body. First on our list of joints is the hinge joint. It is found in the knee and elbow. An example of the bones used are the humerus, radius, and ulna. An example of this joint in sport is kicking a football in AFL. Next, we have the pivot joint. Mostly used at the wrist, it uses the radius and ulna. An example of this being used in sport is to dribble in ice hockey. Next, we have gliding joints. The bones used in this are the vertebrae, carpals, and tarsals. The main movement in this joint is rotation. A good example of this when you're doing exercise is dribbling a ball in basketball. Now we come to the saddle joint. It is found only at the thumb. It uses adduction, abduction, and circumduction. A good example of this joint being used in sport is holding a tennis racket. And lastly, we come to the ball and socket joint. This joint is found at the shoulder and hip. The actions used are rotation, abduction, adduction, and circumduction. A good example of this being used in a sport is a pitch in cricket.